Good morning, Rancho. Your host, Sean Gordon here. Today is a different episode for Good Morning Rancho. We're going to be covering some sobering and sensitive topics. So and I don't say this facetiously, if you can get triggered, talking about bullying and suicide, then I suggest you don't watch. Today we're talking with Dr. Randy Gilchrest. He's a clinical psychologist and a marriage and family counselor therapist up in Roseville, California. I've known Randy for a number of years, and he's quite good. What we want to talk about today is bullying, cyberbullying, depression, and potential suicide related to that. We are going to provide information and resources throughout the course of the video with phone numbers and websites of suicide hotlines and what have you to help you if you're feeling, like you're getting bullied. Now, keep in mind, every school has a text-to-tip line. So if you're having any issues, contact your school, contact your principal, use the text-to-tip line. If you're a parent, if you're a child, you can make use of these resources. Hello, Dr. Gilchrest. Thank you for joining us today here on Good Morning Rancho and a rather serious topic. So this is different. We've never done this kind of a video thing. You and I have known each other, 4 or 5 years now. Not as a patient. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
Not been a patient. But I respect your background a lot. I've given everybody your credentials. And so what I want to talk about, and I led into this, is how, as parents, we can look for the warning signs of kids being bullied, whether it's cyberbullying, physical bullying, which can lead to depression, which can lead to suicide, and if your child is a bully. So I know you've got many years of experience with families and counseling, so I was hoping you could jump in and kind of go through some ideas for us.
Yes, okay, thank you. Well, the first thing to know is about 7 out of 10 teenagers experience cyberbullying, and about 50% of kids overall just experience general bullying. So cyberbullying is even more common than regular bullying, but it all could fall under the umbrella of bullying.
Wow.
And so this is just how widespread that it is. As far as some signs to notice, the biggest thing to notice is a sudden shift in mood, and mainly depressive symptoms. And that could be irritability, low energy, low motivation, just noticing something dramatically different, loss of energy. And so if you see that and it's notably different than how they usually are, that's the very first thing to take a look at. And I know a lot of people say, well, hey, you know what? That's just normal teenage mood. But you need to be in tune and notice if it's dramatically different. That's the very first thing to take a look at, is the mood. Other things would just be other mainly depressive symptoms. The next thing would be like a change in appetite. And if they suddenly are eating a lot more or just not eating, that's a concern, because if they're being bullied, then food is either used as an escape or it's just the last thing that they're thinking about. And so the mood and the food are two things to start with.
So like something I did with my kids, I would notice a change, like you're saying, like they're sitting on their phone constantly, like never looking up, and we're trying to watch a family movie, and I'm like, give it to me. Wait, what? And if they're really defensive, and I've caught a lot of things like that, like stuff that's not supposed to be installed. They're using things that disappear, like the Snapchat or TikTok or whatever is the thing du jour. Do you have any sort of specific suggestions there, or is that sort of a good way to go?
Well, as far as noticing, what their involvement is, yeah, they tend to be isolated a lot more. They tend to be spending a lot more time on social media or video games, but basically they're withdrawing and they're isolating. And yes, they do tend to be rather secretive about what they're involved in. Either they are doing bullying, or a lot of times they are being bullied. The sad truth is a lot of times it's both. And so it's pretty hard to differentiate. Usually if it's one, it oftentimes is also the other as well. Because social media, it goes both ways too.
Now, and this is a tough one. I never caught my kids. Actually, I did catch one of them bullying like another kid in the neighborhood when they were young. You had like a mean girl thing going on, and whenever you got a triumvirate of girls, there's inevitably two go against one, and those alliances shift over time. But like, what would be a good way
because oftentimes, as a parent, you want to believe the best in your child. And it's like, my little Billy wouldn't do that. How do you suggest a parent sort of address that with sort of the shock realization, oh my gosh, my kid's a bully?
Well, the first thing, and this is a very challenging thing to do, but the first thing is working to really try to have as open of a communication and a connection and a relationship with your child as possible. Because a lot of times they aren't going to admit it. But the closer that you are with them, the more regular discussion that you can have with them, the better ability you're going to be able to glean what's really going on. The second thing of, besides having that close relationship and that communication, the second thing is monitoring. I think it could be a good idea to have different parental monitoring on the phone and on the computer. And besides the monitoring there, also coordinating with other parents and teachers and getting multiple data points, because you're only going to get so much with the child. Finding out with monitoring, other teachers, other parents, you throw all of those data points together, you're going to get a better representation of what's really going on.
Okay, yeah, it's tough. Because you will get, I guess to some degree, parents are more involved now, but maybe not in a unbiased way. Like if their kid gets a bad grade on a test, they go after the teacher. I've spent $10,000 on tutoring, so little Billy should have gotten an A. Well, he didn't get an A. It's not the teacher's fault. And so, to your point of communication, I think. They actually have to communicate. One-way directives, Billy do this, Billy do that, why aren't you getting this, why aren't you getting that? That's not actually sort of a relationship or conversation.
Well, that's not listening. That's not understanding what's going on with the child. That's not asking questions. That's not getting where they're really coming from. That's the real trick. Really having the kind of a relationship where they feel that they can and will open up with you, tell you more of what's really going on. And even then, it's not enough. Like I said, parental monitoring with apps that you can get both on the phone and the computer, other teachers, parents. You need to have multiple data points. The information that you can get when they don't think that you know about it, in combination with what you can find out by working to have an open communication relationship with them, including questions and listening. You're right. It's more than just telling them, do this, don't do that.
There's a lot of apps for phones now, where it can completely mirror what's going on the phone. It depends on how hardcore you want to go. But because the kids are married to the phone all the time, it's a way to go. Like we put this family tracking thing on it. And it's actually useful because if somebody's driving, I can go and look up and go, oh, you got traffic coming up. But, we can tell exactly where everybody went and how long they were there. Maybe it's over monitoring, but it's convenient. And they forget it's on there. So, they took an hour to get home. Oh, I was just talking to friends, and you found out that they went over here and they went over here. And actually, we need to try to wrap up here now, but this particular app's called Friend Locator, and it works really well. It's so important. We had a 14-year-old nephew commit suicide about 9 months ago from depression, and it went from 0 to suicide in about 3 weeks. And in our area here, just earlier this year or last year, there was a 13-year-old that went to the school and killed himself on the school property. And I think that kind of depression usually isn't the trigger point. Probably bullying, which, they may be sensitive to begin with, but the bullying sort of like pushes it over the edge.
Oh, absolutely, because peers are the most important relationship a lot of times in the minds of the teenagers. A lot of times we know it to be the parents. In many ways that's true, but in the teenager's mind, a lot of it is their peers. And when they're being bullied and rejected by their peers, a lot of times that's going to really lead them to feel that they're being pushed over the edge. And so when depression hits a high fever pitch, it hits a point of hopelessness and helplessness. And this is when the suicidality is definitely very much at risk. And so all of those earlier ideas I was saying, to understand the best you can of what's going on, very important. But yes, bullying is definitely tied very strongly to teen suicidality.
Wow. And knowing what they're doing, I think, I hate the big brother state, but frankly, the child could even seem fine, but if you looked at the search history on their computer or phone, they're looking at ways to kill themselves.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, you have to pay attention to what's going on the best you can.
I mean, one technique, and then I'll wrap up here. I used with my kids to engage them. I'd see some parents. It's like when the parent has the time and is in the mood. Okay, you can now communicate with me your thoughts and feelings, and they're not in the mood. So I would always try to find points of commonality with the kids. Maybe it's a TV show, or it's a movie, or it's a walk, or it's a game. And what will happen is during that sort of normal interaction where they start to see more as a peer as opposed to a parent, suddenly they'll start to talk, and boom, hit pause. And it might be something you're watching that triggered it, and they're like, man, that guy's so stupid, why would he do that? And you hit pause. Oh, what do you think about that? I mean, listen to those cues, in my opinion, and take advantage of it. When they start to talk, pause and ask them questions and try to draw them out.
Yep. Doing something together, whether it be video games or washing the car or whatever you might be doing, is a great way to help them to feel comfortable, to lower their defenses, and to get them talking. Doing an activity together, even taking a walk together, but doing something other than just sitting them down and having the big, parental talk, that oftentimes is quite overwhelming for the kids. So you're right, just something that can kind of break the tension, and something done together tends to be very helpful. I agree.
Well, fantastic. Dr. Gilchrest, I really appreciate your time and your expertise. You've got a lot of years at this, and I've had a lot of people talk to me privately that they'd like to address this. The school year just started, so I think it's timely. I mean, it might be something we do again. We'll see what kind of feedback we get. But thank you again. We'll provide some data about you and some links in our description.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So I want to thank Dr. Randy Gilchrest for his time today. There was a lot of good information there. Remember, every school has a text-to-tip line. So any parent, you can contact them to let them know about bullying if you see it or you're aware of it. You can also call them directly. Again, we've provided resources here, links to Dr. Randy Gilchrest as well. But this is an important subject with school starting now. Many kids go through bullying, as we just heard. And we want to try to make this as positive an experience this year as possible for your kids. Please be aware of what they're going through, their actions, changes in sleep and eat behavior like we talked about. And thank you once again for tuning in. And please share this video. It's important. Until next time, click, link, subscribe, follow YouTube, BitChute, Facebook, and now on Instagram. Thank you.